The new owner of KTM went on television and said European manufacturing is dead. Now keep in mind, this is a guy who had just bought KTM, a brand whose entire personality is being Austrian and orange and ready to race. So an Indian company pulls it out of bankruptcy, renames the parent company after themselves, and then the new boss hops on TV and basically goes, yeah, the thing this brand is famous for? Cooked. Wild way to introduce yourself, dude. But that's KTM in 2026 for you. So today we're doing 7 levels of it. We started the bike almost every new rider buys, and I'm telling you right now, we end on something that isn't even a motorcycle. Stick around for that one because you are not going to guess it. Subscribe if you ride. Or if you don't ride yet and you've just been watching bike videos at 2 a.m. telling yourself this is the year. No judgment. Real quick though, you have to understand where this brand comes from because it explains everything weird about them. KTM started in the dirt. For decades, that is genuinely all they built. Motocross, enduro, bikes made to clear jumps and climb mountains that have no business being climbed. The street bikes came way later. And even now, this company sells more dirt bikes than anyone alive. So that's the DNA. They're Austrian, everything is orange, and all of it traces back to off-road racing. That is why a KTM feels twitchy and a little bit like it's personally out to get you. It's not a flaw, dude. It's the blood. This brand never once sat down and went, let's build this man a comfortable commuter. They build race bikes and then barely make them legal enough to sell to you. Keep that in your head for all 7 levels, because every single one of these things is a race bike wearing just enough of a disguise to get a license plate. Level 1. The 390 Duke. This is where almost everyone starts. 399cc single-cylinder, around 45 horsepower, and it weighs basically nothing, around $5,800. On paper, it's a beginner bike. In practice, it's a beginner bike that will absolutely get you in trouble. It revs hard, the brakes are real, and it'll lift the front wheel if you're rude with the throttle. There's also the RC390, which is the exact same bike with a fairing and low bars for the guy who wants to look like he races on the weekend. Most new riders should just buy the 390 Duke and nothing fancier. It teaches you everything and punishes nothing too badly. One thing about that 390 though, it is not built in Austria. It is built in India. It always has been. That used to just be a fun little fact. Now it's the blueprint. The new owners already said the quiet part out loud about European factories, and they've started cutting. Nobody knows yet if the orange madness survives a spreadsheet. The 390 being built in India was the test run. The rest of the lineup is the experiment. Level 2. The SX and the EXC. Not a street bike. The dirt. This is genuinely the soul of the whole brand. The SX bikes are motocross, built to get launched off jumps by people with zero sense of self-preservation. The EXC bikes are enduro, built to climb a mountain a goat would look at and say, no thanks. They come as 2-strokes and 4-strokes, and KTM is one of the only brands still making serious 2-strokes, including fuel-injected ones. Here's what separates KTM from everybody. The dirt bike you can actually walk in and buy is basically the same dirt bike their factory riders race. A 450 SXF off the showroom floor is a real race weapon. You are not ready for it. Almost nobody is. That's kind of the point. Level 3. The 790 Duke. Back to the street, and a serious step up. This is the middleweight naked. 799cc parallel twin, around 105 horsepower. KTM literally nicknamed it the Scalpel because of how sharp it turns. The 890 came after it. The 990 Duke is the current one, pushing past 120 horsepower. This is the bike for the guy who's done being a beginner and wants something that fights back. It's light, it's twitchy in the best possible way. It does not have one comfortable bone in its body. And the people who own them would not change a single thing about that. If you only ever own one KTM street bike, it's probably this one. Most people don't need more than this. Most people buy more than this anyway. Now the reliability. The thing that one forum guy in the comments is already typing about. KTM has a reputation, and it isn't fully fair, but it isn't made up either. Older models had cam chain tensioners that like to fail. Some of the bigger engines drink oil and just kind of act like that's normal. Electrical gremlins show up. These bikes are highly strung because they're built to perform, and a highly strung machine needs an owner who actually maintains it. A KTM that gets serviced on time is mostly fine. A KTM owned by a guy who ignores it will find a way to ruin a weekend. Buy one used from the guy who logged every single oil change. Do not buy one from the guy whose entire Instagram is wheelie clips. Tell me your KTM horror story in the comments. I know you have one. Level 4. The Adventure. KTM's other empire. While everyone's busy arguing about the street bikes, the Adventure range quietly became one of the best ways to ride across an entire continent. The 390 Adventure is the small one. The 790 and 890 are the sweet spot. The 1390 Super Adventure is the big one that carries you and your luggage over a mountain pass and still does a wheelie at the top if you ask it nicely. These are tall, go-anywhere bikes. The kind you buy when your retirement plan is to disappear into Patagonia and stop answering emails. ATV riders are a different breed. This is the guy who will tell you about tire pressures you genuinely did not ask about. He is also having more fun than you. So, Level 5. The 690 SMCR. The Supermoto. This is the most fun per dollar in the entire lineup, and it is not even close. One giant cylinder. 693cc. Around 74 horsepower. That sounds modest until you remember the bike weighs almost nothing and exists for exactly one purpose: being a menace. Supermotos are dirt bike chassis with street tires slapped on. They wheelie at a thought. They stop on a coin. They're useless on the highway and perfect literally everywhere else. The SMCR owner is not trying to win a drag race. This is the guy who turns every single roundabout into his own personal racetrack. He has slid this bike on purpose, and he'd do it again right now if he knew you were watching. None of this orange madness makes sense without the racing. KTM races everything. Dakar, the brutal 2-week rally across the desert. They own it. MotoGP, the top level of the sport. They build a full factory bike for it. When the money crisis hit, everyone just assumed the racing budget would be the first thing to die. KTM kept racing anyway. The whole company is built around 2 words: ready to race. And they would genuinely rather go broke than stop. They nearly proved it too. Level 6. The 1390 Super Duke R Evo. They call it the Beast. 1350cc V-twin, around 190 horsepower, in a naked bike with no fairing to hide behind and nothing to protect you from your own decisions. Semi-active suspension that adjusts faster than you can think. Electronics quietly working in the background to keep you alive. This is the apex of KTM street bikes, and one of the most insane things you can legally ride. The Super Duke does not have a comfortable mode for the soul. It has a launch and a prayer. People buy this bike, take it home, and then admit out loud that they're a little scared of it. That fear is the feature. Level 7. The 1390 Super Duke RR. This is where KTM stops pretending you can just walk in and have one. The Super Duke RR is the beast turned up and put on a diet. They built 350 of them. The track version, even lighter and even angrier, claims 193 horsepower. They built 100 of those. There's also the RC8C, a track-only sport bike that sold out almost instantly both times they made it, because it's a race bike with a tiny number plate bolted onto it. And at the very top sits the RC16, the actual MotoGP bike. You cannot buy that one. Nobody can. The bikes at this level aren't really products. They're a flex shaped like a motorcycle, built in tiny numbers for the few people fast enough and rich enough to justify them. So which orange bike is actually yours? New rider. The 390 Duke. And respect it. Want the real KTM soul? Buy a dirt bike and finally understand what these people are so obsessed about. Want one street bike for everything? The 790 or 990 Duke. Want to ride to another country? The Adventure. Want to be a menace in your own zip code? The 690 SMCR. And you already knew that about yourself. Rich and slightly unhinged, the Super Duke R is waiting for you. And if you have to ask about the track bikes, they were never for you in the first place. One more. For the people who made it this far. KTM makes a car. Not a joke car either. The Expo. The newest one, the GT-XR, has a canopy that opens like a fighter jet, a full carbon fiber body, and around 500 horsepower from a turbocharged 5-cylinder engine. It weighs almost nothing. It's road legal in Europe. It costs around $300,000. The same company that builds a $5,800 beginner bike in India also builds a carbon fiber missile in Austria with a fighter jet roof on it. They don't do anything halfway, including almost going out of business. That's KTM. From a first bike built to teach you, to a track car that's barely road legal. The most exciting brand on 2 wheels, owned by an Indian company now, still painting everything orange, still ready to race. If you ride one, tell me which level you're on down in the comments. If you don't ride yet, tell me which one you're saving up for. And see you in the next video, twin.